Okay, good afternoon, Ayal. So, before we start with our discussion, may I ask, how are you today? How are you feeling?
I am fine, sir. Very, very fine. I got my second dose.
Oh, that's good. Well, me right now, I am also good because I am already finished with other requirements and other subjects. And today, this is actually my last demo teaching, and I hope we could have a better demo teaching because and no internet problem or issues for the PowerPoint and so on and so forth. So with that, I'm gonna share now my screen so we could now start with our topic. Can you see my screen, right?
Yes.
Cool, that's good. So, good afternoon, Eyal, again. I am Sir Jabriel Dailo, and we'll be talking about Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Book 1. So, with that, before we start, let's have a prayer first. Can you please lead our prayer?
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Almighty God, we glorify you. Thank you for your goodness. We ask you to grant us the capability to understand, share, and comprehend the learnings for today's discussion. This is our prayer to pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, before we proceed, just reminder that it's not playa, it's plea. Is it
Please.
clear? Okay,
Yes.
let's move on. So, for our classroom reminders, you as a student are expecting to listen, understand, and participate for our today's discussion. And after that, since your classmates are absent, basically, we are assuming that your classmates are absent, so we could have a checking of attendance. And after that, I'm gonna tell you what the things that you need to learn or our learning outcome or objective for today. So the first one is you could able to apply the story's moral in real life situations to discuss the meaning of the story, critique critique the character's action in the story, and identify the significance of the story to our current generation. Is it clear?
Very clean.
So far, do you have any question or violent
No.
reaction? Okay, that's good.
No.
With that, we will start with a four picks in a word. So I'm giving you maybe a minute to discuss or to think what is the four picks one word implies.
School environment.
Okay, cool. You are right. It's school environment because that will be somehow related or probably the whole context of what would our discussion today. So we'll now move on. So now for our next preliminary activity, you need to go to menti.com. You can use your phone to scan our QR code. And after that, you need to answer the question on menti.com. Okay, I'm just gonna go with Menti. Great.
What makes you afraid of entering school? Can I answer it now?
Oh, sure. You can answer it now.
Okay. What makes you afraid? I'm done now, sir.
Right. Can you see the screen, right?
Yes.
Can you please recite your um, answer and kindly elaborate it?
What makes me afraid of entering school? Having a classmate that are bullies and having a strict teacher.
Okay.
And elaborate ko right?
Yes.
Elaborate.
Yeah.
Kasi every every grading school, hindi talaga maiiwasan yung ganyan. Kaya, ah, natatakot din ako minsan. Ganun. Lalo na pag may strict teacher.
Mm.
Like sa bullies, paano eh. Kaya ko pa mapagsabahin kaso minsan mali na yung binubuli nila ibang tao.
Yes, you are right. And you know what? I've asked you about this because this would be the context of our study. And me on my part makes the thing that makes me afraid of entering school is just the same with you, to have a bully and at the same time to have a strict teacher. But you know, if you are on school, you also need to fight in order, because if you would just let them bully you, they would continue it because they think that they are much more superior with you. But if you show them that they cannot control you, they cannot bully you, they will stop eventually. And for the strict teacher, I believe if you have you cannot we cannot change the fact that there's teachers like that. And with that, you need to be responsible. And basically, one of the main reason why they become strict is because they wanted you as a student to be more responsible of the things that you are doing, for you to comply on your assignments, to have a better grades. Because at the end of the day, it's about your development. Is it clear?
Yes, very clear.
Okay, let's now move on. So we will now go and move to Diary of a Wimpy Kid. So it is an assignment for you to able to read and also watch the movie, the 2010 version, because there is actually 2021 version of Diary of a Wimpy Kid book 1. But for now, this is the short summary or compilation of Diary of a Wimpy Kid book 1. Okay, let's watch it. Just tell me if you cannot hear it, okay?
I can't hear it. I can't hear it.
All right. Okay. It's gonna go.
Okay.
I'll try to make this a. How about now?
Yeah, I can hear it now. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
Greg Heffley. He's the star of one of the most recognizable children's book series, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, as he retells events taking place during his middle school years. The books are best known for being funny, and they definitely are, but underlying everything is a manipulative and a dislikable main character. It's honestly pretty interesting to dive deeper into the mind of Greg Heffley and seeing how different he is from typical kids' books. You're usually supposed to look up to a fictional character or at least empathize with what they're going through, but author Jeff Kinney decided to take a bit of a different turn and show us someone who may very well be a sociopath. Even if you don't completely buy the Greg sociopath theory, at least we can all agree he's just a bad person. For today's video, we're going all the way back to the very first book, back to where it all began. I'm not going to be focusing on the live action movie adaptation because it's not completely canon, but I can still use some clips from it. Come on, the manga is where it's at, and that's more canon. By the way, if more people want to see an analysis of the other books in the Wimpy Kid series, then let me know. During the first few pages when we're introduced to the Wimpy Kid Greg Heffley, it's clear to see his distorted mindset. He immediately assures the reader that he's gonna be super famous one day, and he'll probably want this diary journal to give to fans. We don't even get a few pages in, and it's already easy to see his narcissism. After these few pages, we're basically introduced to the characters and world of Wimpy Kid, all seen through Greg's eyes. It's important to realize that because this is his journal, he's writing things seen through his perspective. He gets pretty personal with his own opinions and makes that clear, but we should know that he'll almost always make himself out to be the good guy. Going into these books, it's definitely worth noting that we're not looking at the most reliable narrator out there. One of the clearest ways in seeing how Greg truly thinks is when he's around his best friend Rowley Jefferson. Rowley has the most pure soul and doesn't usually pick up on manipulative signs, so Greg uses that to his advantage. When we first meet Rowley, Greg literally writes, "It's been great having him around, mostly because I get to use all the tricks Roderick pulls on me." We know Greg's a bully, but he uses the carefree, innocent Rowley as a perfect example of someone to pick on. During winter, Greg came up with this apparently fun game that would kill some time. It was pretty simple. One guy rides down the hill and the other guy tries to knock him off with a football. While the concept already sounds like it's less a game and more mindless torture, what's even worse is that Greg never decides to take the role of the rider. Instead, he has Rowley start off on the bike so Greg can throw the football. Now, Rowley doesn't see what's really going on here. He asks if his best friend wants to turn on the bike, but Greg declines. When this game eventually leads to Rowley with a broken arm, Greg becomes jealous when all the girls surround him. This is when some of his true nature is revealed in the school. He's jealous of anyone who's receiving more attention than him. Remember, he considers himself high above everyone else given his constant claims of becoming famous one day, so it's not surprising to see him always try and seek approval from other students. When we're talking more about Greg and Rowley's relationship, one of the worst experiences was the whole safety patrol situation. Basically, they signed up to help kindergarteners walk home. Greg terrorized them one time and a bystander thought it was Rowley, yet Greg never admitted that it was really him, letting his friends take all the blame. Rowley lost the safety patrol position and this eventually led to their friendship broken. If that wasn't enough, here's what he says after they've both been ex-friends for a month. "I'm glad I can just do whatever I want without having to worry about carrying all that dead weight around." Yes, he calls Rowley, who's supposed to be his best friend, dead weight. He doesn't view others as real people with wants and needs like him, but instead whenever they don't comply to what he wants, he just straight up says they're dead weight. Aside from this manipulative friend relationship, it's easy to tell that Greg just likes passing any of his problems to someone else, and even then he feels no shame. An example comes from the school play performance when Manny yells out "Bubby," everyone hears it, and if Greg acknowledges that it's him, then he'll be super embarrassed. That's why he deflects this embarrassment to another student, Archie Kelly. The next day in school, here's what he wrote. "I saw Archie Kelly getting hassled in the hallway after 5th period today, so it looks like I can finally start to breathe a little easier." See, no regret for passing his problems to someone else. No second thoughts to maybe help Archie. This is just the type of horrible person Greg is. This video is only scratching the surface into Greg Heffley as a character, and more of the explanations behind his actions become apparent as the series continues in his other journals. What's important about this first one is that
Alright, so that's the important parts of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid. With that, we can now proceed with our deepening part. Or before that, by the way, you know, as we have read and watched the story, you could actually notice the difference between the story and between the book and the movie version of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Like for example, when how Cheese Touch explained, because do you still remember how Cheese Touch explained on the movie?
Yes.
Okay, how it was explained.
May hindi nila alam kung saan galing yung cheese. Kaya takot na takot sila. Kaya pag ginawa ka nila yung cheese, may cheese touch na sila. Tapos pwede nila, para siyang virus, pwede nila i-touch kung sino-sino.
Yes, you are right. And at the same time, on the movie, the cheese was explained by someone, by some of the friend of Greg Heffley. But on the book or on the series, it was explained by it's by himself, which is Greg Heffley. And on the movie, it was stated that it was been moved out by a foreigner um exchange student from German. But on the book, it was been exchanged by a Californian student. And at the same time, it is never explained in the movie how Greg and Rowley meet each other. But on the book, it was explained um, deeply, and at the same time, how Greg, our main character, being disciplined by his parents, because on the movie it was never explained or never been shown, but on the book, Greg parents has a total different discipline between his mother and his father. Like his father, whenever he got angry, it would only take minutes, and its mad emotions would fade away. Not like his mother, who would take a week before it would vanish. And at the same time, during those time, you need to be so kind to 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 do household chores in order for you not to have a deeper punishment. Can you relate with that on your mother or on your
Not
father?
really.
Oh,
Like, same naman sila. Kaya pag nagalit yung isa, magalit na rin yung isa.
oh, yeah, I can relate to the. Okay, never mind. And at the same time, it was also never explained on the story or on the movie how school government can be used as popularity. Not, or I mean, they explained but not totally deeply on the movie. So actually, there's a lot of difference between the remake and on the story, which I'll um would also recommend you to to read more about it or read the other book series because it's totally good. It's just because basically, honestly, myself, I hate reading, especially long paragraphs. Because, if you would see the original book, it took 226 pages. But what's interesting and what's lovable about the book is it has pictures, just like what you're showing or what you are seeing right now on your screen. It has a lot of pictures, so it's very entertaining. And on my conclusion, it is also the reason why the book got about 226 pages because it has pictures. But I'm able to finish the book one in just a matter of 1 hour and 30 minutes. It is equivalent to the remake movie, which is also 1 hour and 36 minutes. And while reading, you're just like watching it, but on a more detailed and deeper sense. So if you have more time, you could probably read more about the Diary of a Wimpy Kid. It's enjoyable, I swear. Anyway, let's now move on. Like, so Greg Heffley is our main character, which can you tell me what's the attitude of Greg Heffley?
Greg Heffley, ano siya eh. Try hard being a famous guy. Kahit di naman niya talaga kaya.
How about
Ex-
Rowley Jefferson?
siya yung kid na kahit hanggang ngayon, yung parang typical kid na mabait tas masunurin sa magulang. Tas marespeto rin sa magulang.
Yeah, and sometimes the innocent, well, Raul Jefferson is so innocent that he is being taken advantage. What would just like what happened towards to them with Greg Heffley. So Roderick and Manny, basically they are the brothers of Greg Heffley. And what can you say about the older brother of Greg, which is Roderick?
Ano siya, medyo ano rin siya kasi bully na kapatid. Pero ina-advise niya si Greg Heffley sa high school.
But what can you say about the advice to Roderick to Greg? Isn't like um one of the things that makes trigger Greg to be bad person? Well, basically yes, because Roderick Heffley on that part is like instead of supporting, he's actually giving this kind of scaredness or this kind of fear to Greg Heffley. And do you think as a brother you need to push to bad things or to bad circumstances or like bad expectations to high school? But but as a brother, as a older brother, you need to push to positive things, Greg, right?
Yes.
And Roderick didn't do that. And as you can see, it was, and also on the summary on the video, Roderick's attitude was being adopted by Greg, right? And basically, Manny, what's Greg doing is actually he also tries it to do with his younger brother, which is
Younger
Manny.
brother.
Yeah. Fregley, as you remember, is the one who's kind of weird student on that environment because he puts booger on his hand and
Paper.
put it on the paper. That's
Paper.
like so gross. So don't do that, okay? And Patty Farrell is the one who wanted is the student who
Same lang sila rin ni Greg eh. Kasi gusto rin nila parehas maging famous dun sa
yes,
school.
basically. But as you notice, Patty is much more superior towards
Mm.
Greg because of her charisma and confidence. Okay, with that, I guess you are you now ready, or do you have any questions or clarifications?
I'm ready and I don't have any questions.
Cool, that's good. You can now proceed. So with that, since again your classmates are absent, so sad because they don't want us to be on the synchronous activity. We now have a collaboration activity which you need to answer those 5 questions. I'm giving you 15 minutes.
I'm done now, sir.
Lee, are you now done?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Napakabangis naman ni Eyal.
Sir.
Wala ba tayo dyan, Anar? Paano mo how can you flex yourself that you are really mabangis?
Rar.
Oh, all right. Anyway, never mind. Okay, just wait for a few minutes and stop sharing. Stop sharing, and then where's that? Okay, just wait for a few moments. And then yeah. All right. So there's no any sagabal. Well, or any okay. Kindly please read and answer the number one question.
Number one, do you see any problem in the story? What problem is that? Explain. Yung problem na nakita ko sa story is yung sa school nila and sa student is na-intact na sa utak nila na kailangan maging famous para magain yung respect ng estudyante. Ganun yung nakita kong problem do sa story.
Okay, you are right on that part because basically it's actually one of the problems that you could see on the Diary of a Wimpy Kid. A lot of students, and actually up until now, that there are a lot of students that thinks that in order for you to have this kind of respect, you need to be popular, you need to be famous, which is basically wrong. If other people say that respect should be earned, I believe as your teacher that respect should be given with or without this kind of earning. Are you still there? All right.
Yes.
Because your camera just kind of
Yeah,
blurred.
same
Anyway,
as you.
really. Anyway, it's it should be given and not be earned because respect is like whoever who has a deeper understanding, who has a have a longer wide range of openness, are the one you should give more respect than those who doesn't have it. You know, if we could have this kind of pride between those, oh, it should be earned. No, never. It will never be earned. Okay, let's have anyway. And at the same time, there's a lot of problems that was also mentioned in the story, which is aside from that kind of mindset towards popularity, bullying, family conflict, and at the same time, um, showing your true self. So, okay, let's move on to what I stated a while ago, bullying. Do you think it is important to have a bullies on the school?
Can you repeat it?
Do you believe that bullying is necessary to have in school?
No, pero di talaga maiiwasan siya. Tsaka talagang magkakaroon sa school ng mga bully.
Yeah, it
Sometimes kasi talagang yung bully galing talaga muna sa bahay. Tas na ano na lang sa school.
yeah, basically it was being adopted on the school. Probably just like Greg Heffley, it was adopted towards to his brother, which is Roderick Heffley. So with that, it has a deeper conflicts that makes it wider and goes on to the school. And yes, you're right that bullying is somehow cannot be stopped. But if you have the power, the courage to speak, not to be controlled by other people, and basically, if you and other classmates would protect and unite each other, no more bully would basically win. Because if you are united, just like on the saying that united we stand, divided we fall, right? So you need to be united in order to stop bullies. Next one is family conflict. It's kind of related about how how Greg's parents discipline him, Roderick and Manny, because the three disciplines given to them is totally different. Especially for Manny, who's the younger brother, he is nurtured and doesn't. And every time Manny do bad things, it's just like, oh, it's okay, baby. It's kind of unfair treatment. And whenever Greg is being disciplined, the parents didn't think a lot first or didn't investigate first before having conclusion that it's Greg's fault. Just like what happened on the time where Greg basically wake up in the morning without even investigating that it's Roderick's fault, right?
Yes.
So basically it's about unfair treatment and how Roderick treats his younger brothers. The next one I stated, family conflict, bullying, showing true self, yeah. Because basically the reason why um Rowley Jefferson become popular is because of, can you remember?
Una yung sa cast niya, pero para sa akin yung pagiging be yourself talaga sa kanya.
Yeah, you are right. It's actually mentioned on the movie on and also on the story. He stated that I just wanted to be true to myself. And he also mentioned that my mom told me to be true on myself in order for me to have friends. And as you can see, he become the one of the favorite students on the yearbook. He become the school clown because of his attitude. So always remember, you don't need to pretend other other or you don't need to pretend other people in order for you to be popular. You only need to be yourself. Sabi nga sa bahay ni Kuya, magpakatotoo ka. Right?
Yes.
Are you planning to audition in PBB?
No, because give chance to others.
Oh, yeah. Basically, because you would basically win, definitely. Anyway, next question, please.
Do you think Greg Heffley action is good towards to his best friend? Why explain? No, no kasi yung attitude niya kay ay kay Rowley is pumamlastic niya. Pero at the same time, yes, dahil pinatunayan niya na talagang mahalaga si Rowley sa kanya doon sa ending ng ay doon sa may cheese touch. Kasi kung di niya kinuha kung di niya inako yung cheese touch, si Rowley yung mapapayay hanggang ma-end yung year ng high school nila.
Yes, you are right. And do you think that if you would be Greg, how far can you sacrifice yourself? Or are you willing to sacrifice yourself?
I'm willing kung right person naman yung isa-sacrifice ko sa
Mm,
sarili ko.
right person. Ano yung tinadhana? Oh, I'm just kidding.
Like good friends, real friends talaga.
I would basically agree on you that it is first and foremost, it is never ever right to have that kind of action, especially if it is your so-called best friend. And not only on your best friend but from other people. Again, I would go towards to what I've mentioned a while ago. Respect would never be earned. It should be given to other people. Is it clear? Okay,
Yes, sir.
that's good. And the next one, I also love that you can basically sacrifice yourself, especially if it's like worth fighting for, just like that on that quote. But again, this is my personal thought that it is okay to sacrifice yourself. It's okay to sacrifice something towards to other people, but know your limitation. Okay? At the end of the day, you have emotion, you have feelings. You don't need to always think about for other people. You also need to think about for yourself. Because if you've become drained and if you've become drained, you cannot help other people. So always love yourself first before other things. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, move on.
Number 3, what action of student should change in the school? Yung action na kailangan i-change nung student is una, yung bullying. Hindi naman kailangan ng bullying para sumaya. And second, yung intact sa utak nila ng pagiging popularity, mag-gain ng respect. And yung third siguro yung di ka yung iba kasi mahiyain and nag-expect kagad sila ng masama habang wala pa silang ginagawa. I think yung tatlo lang ngayon.
Yes, you are right on that part that first about the bullying, how popularity should vanish our principle in life. And third, what did you say again on the third one?
Yung pagiging introvert ng ibang
Ah, yeah, yeah.
estudyante.
Basically, because yes, we cannot change the fact that there are also a lot of introverts in town, in school, and that's also one of the reason why There's a lot of activities given to students, different variety of activities for students, like role playing, presentation, collaboration, one-on-one activity, essay, and so on and so forth, in order to meet the different skills, different behavior of students. And we cannot also blame those introverts because it is their attitude. Okay. So we should not push them to, hey, show yourself, hey, be like that, because
My
it's
best
not
friend
them.
is introvert.
Oh, you see.
Then
So
yung naging kaibigan niya ako, hindi na siya introvert.
it's also about being adaptive, right? Okay.
Chinat niya pa ako na nagchat siya sa JC kaya tuwan-tuwa siya. Nung JC ng mga nung may teacher tapos may
Yeah.
student. Eh 'di ba maraming introvert din minsan. Kaya
Ah,
di
yeah.
nagchat sa JC. Siya yung unang-una nag-chat. Kaya sinend niya sa akin yung convo tapos tuwan-tuwa siya. Naging proud na siya sa sarili niya.
Oh, that's good. It's a good thing for you because you're able to adapt your introvert skills towards other people. But again, influence only the good things and not the bad things. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Always remind that. Okay. On the fourth one.
What make the story outstanding other than classic novels? Kaya naging outstanding yung story. Obviously, entertaining and meron din nagkakaroon ganun sa real life and still happen ngayon dun sa story.
Yes, you are right on that part. And at the same time, if the if you would basically saw the original script or the original book series, it is very entertaining, not like the other classic novels. Why? Because, okay, I'm just gonna give you an example. I'm gonna search. Okay. And let's have a comparison towards the two. I'm searching it right now. So okay, okay. Just wait for a minute. So honestly, I can find other classic novels, but I'm gonna view the original book. See, as you can see, it's entertaining because it's a lot of pictures. Let's compare it to one of the classic novels, um, No Limit Tangere. So what can you see about the novel about this and the No Limit Tangere?
No Limit Tangere. I got, I think I got No Limit Tangere. Oh, it's different book.
Oh, can you please open it? And show it to me.
Eh,
Oh, it's a comic strip. Oh, you see? Okay,
yes.
let's have now discussion about that. And basically, why do you think that that No Limit Hangere become like a comic strip? Do you
Para
have
mas entertaining.
basically because the classic novel, the classic book of No Limit Hangere is not like that. It's totally boring. It's just like, okay, I'm have here. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna give this example. Like for example, this one. Oh, I like this one. It's a book. It doesn't have any pictures
Yeah.
because basically, and with that, students or people have this kind of notion that, oh, I can't read it, it's so boring, especially for visual learners. Not And as you can see on this book of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, it's entertaining because it has pictures. That's making totally outstanding, not like the other novels. Okay. For the last one,
Would you recommend the story to your friends? Why explain? I would recommend it kasi may mga friends ako na introvert and yung iba na I want to be famous. Yeah. Pwede naman maging be yourself na lang sa story na yun.
Yes, you are right.
Kaya I would recommend it.
It has a lot of lessons towards people. It has a lot of lessons as you as a student. It's entertaining because of its picture. And with that, it is basically a good recommendation for students, especially if students are not totally visual learner, or not totally um, book lover, or if they are visual learners, they would basically love it. And me as our teacher, I would also recommend you to read this. I promise it's a good story. From book one up until two, I don't know how many series it, but it's a good story. So that's the thing that I wanted you to give me this Christmas. I'm just kidding. Anyway, I'm gonna share my screen again. Can you see my screen, right?
Yes.
Cool, that's good. I'm gonna okay. Just wait. I'm just gonna share the audio again. Okay, with that, since we are now um al- already finished with our deepening part, we have already explained the characters, the story itself. Now, what is the moral and conclusion in the story?
The moral and the conclusion of the story is be yourself all the time, and dapat di ka nagta-try hard kahit alam mo naman di kaya at pinipilit mo yung sarili mo. And at the same time, be a good presentation of yourself para makita ng ibang, he's not a bully, hindi siya nagta-try hard. I want to be friends with him. Ganun.
And how about its conclusion, the overall conclusion of the story?
Conclusion.
Yes, like for example, Greg and Hefley. Okay, you can now proceed.
Mm. The conclusion of the story is do not be selfish para sa akin. Yung, kasi pag naging selfish, marami kang masasaktan na ibang tao, tas ikaw rin sa sarili mo masasaktan ka rin being selfish.
Yes, you are right on that part. So I love your moral of the story to be yourself, to so that and to have a good representation for you not for you to have a like better perspective towards other people. And aside from that, it's not just about presenting yourself, because it's somehow contradicting towards being true to yourself and presenting yourself, right? Because if you're only presenting yourself, you're like plastic, because you just need to be like be kind to other people because it represents you. But if you're not being true to yourself, it kind of deviates its morality. So I believe instead of the term presenting yourself, it's about changing yourself to good, to a better person, right?
Right.
And for the conclusion, I also love that it's not stop being selfish, and at the same time we can also see on the story how Greg and Rowley has different conflicts that makes them a better person at the end of the day. Rowley bec- Rowley become a much more mature, much more powerful, doesn't want to be bullied by other people. And on the other hand, Greg Heffley also thinks not just for himself but for other people. Just like what happened in the last series, or in the last part of the movie and the story, he um he put blame on himself, or he tell to other people that I'm the one who touched the cheese in order to protect his best friend. Is it clear?
Yes.
Do you have
Very
any
clear.
questions,
No.
clarifications? That's good. With that, we can now proceed with our evaluation. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
That's good. Okay, for our evaluation, gonna give you 15 minutes to answer that's the question. The Google form is already sent on the message and your timer starts right now. If you have any questions, clarifications, chat, or just recite.
I am now done, sir.
Cool. That's good. We only take um 7 minutes to finish. So that's good. It's a good thing. Ako, napakabangis naman pala. Okay. With that, let's now move on with our last part of our activity, which is would be your assignment. So for your assignment, make your own Diary of a Wimpy Kid inspired book cover, then explain why you choose that particular design with a minimum word count of 150 words, 1.5 spacing, 12 times new roman, and justified alignment. Is it clear?
Yes, very clear.
So do you have any questions, clarifications to our discussion for today?
No.
Okay, that's good. That would be the end of our discussion. So as I'm telling this to my student, keep smiling. Can I see a huge smile? Well, a more self or more true smile. Okay. So keep smiling because you are worth living. Have a great day ahead. Enjoy your day.
Thank you, sir. Bye bye.